Today, we will talk about all things road safety and how to make our communities safer 1 mile at a time. I'm your host, Rachel Freeman, and today we're driving into an issue that affects every single driver out there: distracted and reckless driving. From speeding to texting behind the wheel, these behaviors are more common and more dangerous than many people realize. Joining me today is Commander Chris Ross with the Los Alamos Police Department. Welcome.
Thank you, Rachel. I appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity to come in here today and to have this discussion with you about driving.
It's a pleasure to have you. So let's dive in and start by just breaking things down. Can you tell us what's the difference between reckless driving and distracted driving?
Yeah, that's a great question, Rachel. There's a distinct difference between reckless driving and distracted driving. Reckless driving is typically, the intention is you're excessively speeding, you're tailgating, you're swerving in and out of lanes and stuff like that. Your intentions are reckless. You're putting yourself and other vehicles at danger. Distracted driving, however, the intention isn't there. The driver may not even know that they're being distracted. For example, grabbing your cell phone just to look at it. It's just such a habit. They may not know that they actually did that. They just, because now you hear that ding, next thing you know, you pick up your phone and you just do it, but you're not actually
irresistible.
It's irresistible. Changing your radio station, things like that. That any type of those distractions that take your mind and your vision off the road, it's maybe most of them in your vehicle are unintentional. But reckless driving, you're speeding, you're driving aggressively, you're tailgating, whatever it may be. There's a difference. And so distracted driving, they're both as dangerous. But distracted driving, most people don't even know they actually are distracted driving.
So let's talk about speeding. It seems like something a lot of people do. Why is it so dangerous?
So speeding is dangerous, Rachel, because we know through the crash data that the faster motor vehicles are going and they get involved into a crash, the greater the injuries or fatalities that could result to the occupants of those vehicles. We know that. So really, we want to get people to slow back down. We want them to drive at the posted speed limits because that's what the traffic engineers have gone out and designed, and they said these roads are built for this speed. We understand the faster you're going, you have less reaction time. And so really, we just want people to get back down to what those posted speed limits are. Get close to it. If a road says it's 40 miles an hour and your car's capable of doing 70, 75, absolutely not safe. Bring it back down to that 40 mile an hour zone.
So is it fair to say that most people are guilty of speeding?
Absolutely. It'd be pretty hard to say, no, I never speed whatsoever, because even 1 mile an hour over the limit is technically speeding. But I think the biggest thing is when it comes to speeding is if you recognize that you're speeding, if you're like, oh man, I'm 10 or 15 miles an hour, and you made that conscious decision, slow yourself down.
Yeah, as an enthusiastic pedestrian and cyclist, I really appreciate that.
Yeah, vehicles that pass you if you're riding your bike at 20 miles an hour versus 40 miles an hour. Very different feel. The wind and all that type of stuff, and you can hear it. And when they're passing you at 40 miles an hour, it's scary. But when they're passing you at 20, because that's the posted speed limit, 20, 25, it's not that bad. And so it does. It increases everybody who's using the roadways. Pedestrians, bicyclists, and motor vehicles. It increases everybody's safety if we can bring those speeds right back down to the posted speed limits.
Our county just passed an ordinance allowing for automated speed enforcement cameras in certain areas. What can you tell us about this?
Yeah, so it's a program that's on its early stages. We're really building this thing up from the ground up. But our primary objective with the speed camera program is to increase public safety. Technology with the speed camera program for us is a force multiplier. We know officers sitting on the side of the road and running their own traffic enforcement is probably the most effective way to do traffic. However, we also know too, we can't be at all places at one time. So when the officer leaves, the camera's still operating, the camera's still working, the camera's still enforcing. So that's why we look at technology. It's just going to benefit us, which is going to then benefit the public by increasing public safety and slowing people down and getting them to their destination safely.
Where would the cameras be located?
So the cameras are going to be located, we're going to look at some mixed options. We're going to have some on our major thoroughways, and we're also going to have some mobile solutions as well. So that way we can put them where we might be getting some more crash data, or we might be able to put them in school zones. And so that way when we look at, children using crosswalks and stuff. And so I think having the mobile solutions as well is going to give us the ability to address all kind of concerns that we're going to see within the community.
Full culture change.
Yeah, exactly. Culture change. That's exactly what we're looking for.
I love that.
Yeah.
I imagine some people might see this as just a way for the county to generate revenue.
Yeah.
Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, we've heard those concerns that this is revenue oriented and focused, and I can tell you from the police department standpoint, absolutely not. This is a public safety thing. We have experienced a lot of crashes where speed has increased the injuries or turned them into a fatality. And so what we want to do is we want to slow people down. We want to get people to slow down and pay attention. And then the money that is collected from it, it's not a revenue stream. A lot of it goes to campaigns and funds to actually improve road safety, to educational campaigns, and some of it's going to have to go back to the vendors that are supplying the cameras. But the money is not 100% staying with the county, and there's no motivation from a revenue stream.
Let's move to the next big one, which is texting and driving. It seems like this is the distraction we hear about the most.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it such a big deal?
Texting and driving is a major deal when it comes to distracted driving. And I think it just has to go with the fact that our cell phones now are the gateways to our life. You get your text messages, your phone, your emails, phone calls, all your social media, everything's at your fingertips. And so people want to feel connected to the rest of the world because it's become their lifeline. So texting and driving is very dangerous because you're taking your vision off the road, you're taking your mind away from it, and you're continuing going down the road. A statistic that's out there is 5 seconds with your eyes off the road, traveling at 55 miles an hour, you've covered the length of a football field.
Well, that's terrifying.
Exactly. Imagine driving the length of a football field with a blindfold on. That's essentially what you did when you looked down to look at that message, driving at 55 miles an hour. You know what? My job as a driver is to get myself and the rest of the occupants of my vehicle to our destination safely. So if that means I got to put my phone in the center console or in the glove box or somewhere else, just wait, because whatever that phone call, that text message, that email, whatever's coming through is not more important than you arriving to your destination safely.
I know the county has passed a new ordinance to address this directly. Can you tell us about the new hands-free law?
Yeah, so the hands-free law goes right into the distracted driving and the texting. If we can reduce all those distractions and just get people back to think about, I just want to drive. I just need to go from A to B. That's what we want to do.
Can you tell us how the ordinance will be enforced?
Yeah, so the ordinance is going to be enforced through a variety of ways. And it's usually not the easiest thing to do. But like, for example, if you're at a red light and you look around, you'll see a lot of people at a red light. They'll grab their phones and they start messaging and start picking up. Well, guess what? With this ordinance, that's still prohibited. So an officer at a red light with multiple vehicles around, they can look around and say, hey, I see a couple vehicles around me. The drivers are doing it, and then try to make a traffic stop off of that. Areas where we know the speed is a little bit slower, that's an opportunity for our officers to be able to be out there and enforce it. Whether it has to be a conversation on the side of the road or it's a citation that they issue. The ultimate goal is we want people to change their behavior. Driving from their home to work or wherever it may be, that's their primary objective. Everything else in the car, that can wait until you get to your destination.
Yeah, just drive.
Just drive. That's all we want people to do. It sounds simple, and it is simple. You just have to drive.
Are there any exceptions to the ordinance?
Yeah, there are exceptions. There's definitely, there are exceptions for emergency personnel and stuff, and there are even exceptions for the public, emergency situations.
So phones are the big one, but what about other distractions in the vehicle? We're talking like passengers, eating, doing your makeup.
Yeah, that's a great one. I don't have to worry about doing the makeup, Rachel, so that's a good thing. But yeah, those are actually distractions as well. A lot of people don't think that, eating or doing something else while you're driving is a distraction as much as your phone. Absolutely it is, because you're taking your attention away. It's taking your focus away. If you're putting on your makeup, you got your mirror down, and you're doing your stuff, you're not really paying attention to what you're doing. You're definitely sidetracked. And driving is risky enough. It takes a lot of responsibility to do it. And so if you start adding more distractions to it, all you're doing is just increasing your chances you're going to get involved into a crash. So yeah, any of those distractions can be that you see people do frequently. They can be just as bad as texting and driving.
Let's not forget about the deadliest choice, drinking and driving.
Definitely.
What's the current landscape on this?
Yeah, thank you, Rachel, for bringing that up. Drinking and driving, it's definitely still a very risky behavior. And we have seen a reduction in DWIs in our community in the last couple of years. So that's a good thing. And so what that means is we know people are using rideshare. We know people are using designated driver. And when it comes to rideshare, Los Alamos County ACT just started their rideshare option after hours. And so we know that they can get on, is it ACT My App?
Yeah, it's called ACT My Ride.
My Ride, ACT My Ride.
Early mornings, late evening.
Yeah, and those are opportunities to reduce drinking and driving, drug driving, any of that, non-sober driving. And I can tell you, in this last year, we did 4 DWI checkpoints. We, inspected anywhere between 1,000 to 2,000 vehicles at each one. We didn't make a single arrest. We're validating that the citizens are not making that decision to drive impaired, whether it be drugs or alcohol. So to us, that's what we would like to see as officers. We want to see that the motoring public is not drinking and driving, not using drugs and driving.
Well, you've mentioned it already. Can you speak a little bit more about drugged driving? Things like cannabis. What does that look like?
Yeah, so drug driving is just as dangerous as drinking and driving, whether it be cannabis or whether it be any other illegal drug or even prescription medicine. That is definitely just as dangerous as drinking and driving. And so, when we calculate all the numbers, we're not seeing a big uptick in drug driving either. And so we were kind of anticipating with the passage of the marijuana laws that we would see an increase, but we haven't. And I think that just goes back to the citizens making the correct choice of not drinking and driving, not using drugs and driving, and just driving sober.
Well, Commander Ross, this has been very eye-opening. Thank you.
Yeah.
Is there any final thought you'd like to leave us with?
The only thing I would say is, remember, as a driver of a motor vehicle, your number one objective is to arrive to your destination safely. So if that means you just drive, just drive.
Just
That's
drive.
all you got to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much.
No,
It's been a
thank you,
pleasure.
Rachel.